Hello, 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 and welcome to the Loud Poets North Slam! I almost shouted Aberdeen, like I was just excited to be here, but it's the North. It's all of the North, which to someone in the Central Belt is everywhere. Guys, thank you so much for coming along. Thank you for being here, especially given it is such a beautiful day. I know they are rare, far and few between, so thank you for sacrificing some of that evening to come inside and indulge in some poetry. Thank you so much for having us. Can we get a little shout out for Spin for having us? This is the third time we've been up, and we are always amazed with such a beautiful venue to have. And we would not have such a beautiful venue if it was not for our wonderful partners. Can we get a whoop for Speaking Weird? Who we are so delighted to be partnering with again. This is the sort of second year in this kind of partnership. I'm just going to say the word partnership. I have Creative Scotland funding apps on the brain. Synergy, fusion of nights. That is what we've been doing. If you were here for a couple of our shows last year, we came up and we did some of our kind of Loud Poets night, kind of merged with our open mic. We came and sort of fused that together. It was lovely doing a couple gigs. And then this year we have added in the Slam series, which we're very, very excited for. Give me a little cheer if you have been to a poetry slam before. the poet's good. Nice to hear. Give me a little cheer if you have never been to a poetry slam before. Varying levels of enthusiasm. Good. Don't worry, we will have you all converted to the way of slam before the evening is out. My name is Kevin Mclean. I should introduce myself. I should have done so right away. Fucked it up. The heat is melting me. I'm in shorts and everything. The world is chaos. But yes, my name is Kevin Mclean. I am the artistic, creative, fucking what? I know what my job is. I'm not making it up. I am the creative director of I Am Loud Productions, which Loud Poets is a part of. This whole season that we are doing, the Slam series and our live showcases are all a part of that Loud Poets live season. We're partnering with 6 different regions, including our own in Edinburgh, to do this whole season. And it is funded by the wonderful people at Creative Scotland. Can we get a whoop for Creative Scotland? It is always nice when the Creative Scotland gods smile upon you. We are very, very lucky to have funding and be able to do this full season. So what is the Slam season? Outside of the showcases, we are running these slams. We are all over the place. This is the North Heat. We have already done the East, the West, the South, and the Highlands. After this, there will be one more heat in Edinburgh, the Central Heat, and that will give us 6 winners and 6 runners up who will all qualify to take part in the Grand Slam Final. Yeah. Woo indeed, which will take place on the 26th of August at the Edinburgh International Book Festival. Ooh. Yeah, I love how everyone knows that the Book Fest is an ooh thing. They're like, oh, at the Book Fest. Oh, I see. Not slumming it at the Fringe. No. We did our time. No, we're very, very excited to be partnering with the Book Fest. It is amazing to see them embracing spoken word and kind of doing that. We did a spoken word showcase with them last year. They are very excited for the slam, and hopefully it is something that continues to go forward. So we will have 12 incredible poets from all over Scotland all coming together to compete at the Grand Slam final for £3,000. Yeah, if you know anything about poetry or money, that's a fucking lot. So we are very, very excited for that. It's been a long time coming that there was a kind of a slam with a big meaty prize for these spoken word poets. It's very exciting to be able to bring that to the EIBF. We are stoked about it. And the winner this evening will also win 200 quid. All the poets, I should have done that one first. It feels like a come down. Oh well. But all the poets that take part at the EIBF, they'll all be paid. We're getting travel and accommodation and all that sorted, so there is no barrier. I know a guy from Edinburgh comes and tells you about barriers to art. But I know that it can be a terrible thing. All these things happen in Edinburgh, and then, if you're from fucking Aberdeen or, God forbid, Inverness, it's just on you to get involved. And so we really wanted to make sure that this was not like that. Everyone could be involved and be part of it, and it really represented the Scottish scene as a whole. But all of that is irrelevant, because the true prize, the thing that everyone covets, is the Loud Poets Slam Championship belt! Oh, isn't it beautiful? No, this whole Creative Scotland funded project, year-long thing with multiple partners all over the country, including the IBF, was not just an excuse for me to get a wrestling belt. Please don't tell Creative Scotland. We really want another year of this. No, it's very exciting. We're totally stoked to be doing it, and we are so excited to be coming here. If you don't know how a slam works, we have 12 incredible poets for you. We will have 3 rounds. The 12 poets will all read in the first round. We will have an interval. When we come back, it will go down to 6 poets. The top scoring poets from the first round, they will all go through. And then we will have a third round where only 3 poets will go through. In that final round, they'll be joined by a musician. He'll be 3 poems, and then we will declare a winner and a runner-up, and they will go on to the book fest. But who will decide, I hear you ask, in my brain. Maybe it's heat stroke. But the 3 people that will be deciding is our 3 wonderful judges representing Loud Poets. We have the phenomenal Bex Sherwood. Bex is a phenomenal poet and the person that keeps the wheels turning. I Am Loud. They're so fucking organized. Spreadsheets for days. It's wonderful. But Bex has seen a million poets. They are a wonderful judge of talent. They will be representing Loud Poets in the judging. And Speaking Weird is also represented by Orla Kelly. Probably don't need to tell these poets. Orla has seen most of you perform. So they are the kind of local judge. They know the poets. They've seen them before. They'll know whether they're at their best or not. So that is very exciting. She has seen more than enough poetry to be a qualified judge. And we have one final judge from London, no less. Give it up for Tyrone Lewis! Tyrone is our unbiased, impartial judge. He doesn't know anyone here, and that makes him the most bribable judge. So, take that into account. Tyrone, on a totally unrelated matter, does have books for sale. So if you are interested in purchasing one, I'm sure that would be all above board. I'm not even looking at the poets. I'm just going to ignore them. But yes, Tyrone is a phenomenal poet. Has been one of my favorite performers in the scene for a long, long time. He is not only a tremendous poet, but he has hosted, promoted nights for years. He has his online platform, Process Productions, where he showcases tons and tons of incredible poetic talent. He is more than qualified to judge. He is also more than qualified to fill the last thing we need for a poetry slam, which is a sacrificial poet, a poet that we put on the pyre. No, we are going to be getting it's hard coming up in a slam. If you come up first and you need to be the first person on the mic, the first person to put a poem out to the room, that can be a really tough spot. So what we are going to do is get the wonderful Tyrone Lewis to come up and wow you all with his poetic prowess and get some energy in the room. That is how it will work. It'll be wonderful. You'll hear progressively less of me as the night goes on. I'll melt into a puddle in the corner somewhere. It'll all be fine. Everyone excited for the slam? That's what I like to hear. Well, what I am going to do before I introduce our wonderful sacrificial poet, I am going to read out the order our wonderful slammers will be performing in. We are going to do one clap right at the end, all right? None of this whooping in between stuff. I know you're all going to have faves. We're going to batter through. Big cheer at the end, all right? So we have Zen Amir, Nick Bagshaw, Rachel Beattie, John Boland, Elizabeth Flett, Joe Gilbert, MC, Callum O'Dwyer, Sid O'Zalid, Fiona Robertson, Aaron Smith, and Abigail Underwood. Those are our slammers. They will be reading in that order. When I introduce you, what I will do is I will say who is on deck, and then I will introduce the poet who is coming up to the mic now, because I know all the poets heard that information and deleted it immediately from their minds. They are thinking of one thing alone, and that is, what am I going to do in the first round? What am I going to do in the first round? You guys will be fine. Don't worry. We have judges. We have a sacrificial poet. We have all of our contestants. But we also have our beautiful audience. And we don't require you guys to judge. We've brought the pros for that. What we need you guys to do is just worry about the poems, not the points, all right? You are here to support all of the poets. Slam can be a scary thing to do, especially if you've not done one before, if you're inexperienced, if you've taken a big gap off during the fucking weird 2 years where everything melted. You know, there's a lot of reasons you could be a bit frightened. So what I want from you guys is just love, energy, support, whoop, holler, cheer all of the poets as they come on and off the stage. Give all your love. Are you guys up for that? I'll trust you. Okay, we will get rolling. Guys, please welcome our wonderful sacrificial poet to the stage. Make some noise for Tyrone Lewis!
Books are heavy, and I will have to go back to London, so if I have less books to bring back to London, that would be great. Nevertheless, seeing as we are still in Britain and all of that, and I've got some British poems in my book, I felt it would be appropriate to do a British poem. This poem is called Britain's Got Talent. My Britain is queuing, and football and rugby and cricket and sports we invented that we're not really good at. My Britain is broken, but too polite to say anything. It uses manners and self-deprecating humour as a plaster over all its cuts, and my Britain is still queuing. It's Walker's Crisps and Gary Lineker. It's Iceland and Kerry Katona. It keeps insisting that Keith Lemon is funny. And I don't get that one. But my Britain is Iron Brew. My Britain is tea. My Britain is tea with milk. My Britain is tea with biscuits. My Britain is still not over the Boston Tea Party. It still holds a grudge deep within its inferiority complex. And my Britain is Emmerdale and EastEnders and Corrie. It's soap operas and reality shows. It's X Factor and Strictly. And a very loose definition of the word celebrity. My Britain is knockoff Burberry. It's hooligans and xenophobia. It's a cheeky Nando's before they added vegan options to the menu. And it's Weatherspoons before they had an app. My Britain is pre-orders and let's go get a drink and too many drinks, and my Britain is drunk. It can't keep from talking to the girl at the bar, keeps confusing no for try harder. My Britain slurs its words and throws out racial slurs, and my Britain is racist. My Britain is those two 75-year-old white women mumbling that the Browns should go back to where they came from. My Britain is colonialism and privilege and is annoyed that Barack Obama is no longer president because it can't say it's got a black best friend anymore. My Britain is racist and somehow it's still queuing, and my Britain is somehow still racist, and my Britain is asking about the weather. My Britain only knows the first verse to God Save the Queen, but knows all the words to Wonderwall. My Britain is boy band. It is Take That and Five. And my Britain used to be in Blazing Squad and once was a member of the Sugar Babes for its gap year. My Britain... Oh, thank you. Thank you for the Sugar Babes love. My Britain is full of knife crime and UKIP, IKEAs and Odeons. It's so far right it's wrong, keeps questioning how it's apparently so terrible when there are many others that are worse than it. My Britain does not like women or black people or Muslims or minorities, but pretends to put up with them. My Britain keeps accidentally joining a queue not knowing what it was for and staying in it because leaving would be more embarrassing. And my Britain finds leaving queues more embarrassing than its treatment of women or black people or Muslims or minorities. And quite frankly, my Britain is a wanker. But my Britain is filled with enough amazing people to make me naive enough to think that maybe one day my Britain could change. Thank you.
Phenomenal stuff. All right, guys, it is time for round one. On deck, we have Nick Bagshaw, but kicking us off, please give some love for Zen Ania!
So my first poem is about mental health and mental illness. And instead of talking about the black dog or the cloud, what if it was your best friend or a really good friend? Good in the sense that they're always reliable. Maybe not who you want on every single party, but they're there at the end. They're cleaning up, and they help you make sense of the night. This is for each breath. I've held you, couples on my back for years now. Between my shoulder blades, curled up small in the summer, I feel you in the limit of my lungs when I'm run out breathless. In the hummingbird heartbeat in my chest, in my Gemini joy, I see you peering over, and we nod to each other. I have known you well, and know that you live here. In the North Coast winter, I feel you embrace me. I feel you in the density of my bones, in the heavy weight of my skin-deep smile. Some days I have left my spine behind in bed because it is easier then to just breathe. Rib sliding over sinew, sliding over rib, and breathe. Some days I've swapped out my own heart for 2 coins, each tumbling disc with the probability to hit and mimic a beat. I have coughed up and collected their rust rings at the end of each season. When measured bubbles of air start to escape, that's when I know I am sinking in the bath. I feel you trace and hold my ribs, and I can sometimes see your fingernails under my skin. I caress the borders you have reached to before. You have breathed me, sharing each aching breath. This year, I have sat till each shaking dawn waiting for you. You have held me. Oh, how you have held me. Thank you very much.
On deck, we have Rachel, but coming to the stage now, please keep that applause going for Nick Bagshaw!
It's not our first date, or second, but it's still quite early on, and I'm kind of stunned because he's seen me. He's had time to go away and reflect on it, and he still wants to see me. He's probably a vampire. And here we are participating in the big gay trauma dump, TM. The relationship craze that's sweeping the over 30s, because you don't reach this age, this queer, without baggage. You're no gent if you don't vent the childhood days you wasted wishing you were different, that you weren't different, that things were just different, that your body could just be normal, feel like it belongs here. See, queer kids need voices, supportive faces. They need breathing space, or they grow up tainted with it ingrained. And my arms still bear the scars of Section 28. You gotta vent. Express the mess, pent-up trauma bent by pressure, contorted into what they're up against. You gotta vent what they're up against. Your past is what they're up against. You are what they're up against. Pain's portfolio. All the ways you sit too gay, walk too gay, talk too gay, laugh too gay, just are too queer all at once. You don't perform masculinity masculine enough. Adolescent clowns pile on to pull you down, putting on a lisp and a limp wrist, pain from parental disapproval at your behaviors, bullying, shaming, blaming, name-calling, being tied to a tree and left, an arson attempt, multiple rapes. We play our hands like Snap. Dart back to the black past. Buried memories flash as we say, I also experienced that, and I, full of love and lust and wine, kiss him. Kiss him with every fiber of my being, like I'm trying to pull the past out of him, suck the poison from him, unbreak the heart of him, find the light in him, and shine bright like a fucking cliche. But I don't have peace to give him. I only have more pain, more shame, more myriad stone touch men, more bruises, more blue tears, more losers, more lackluster lovers, fuckboy starters, frustration instructors, perturbance suppliers, orgasm deniers, aftercare flyers, liars, emotional gaslighters. Men are fucking disappointing. And queers, we're just out here 66% water, 34% bone, flesh, flora, whatever else makes a person. We're just out here, 100% precarious, gregarious, daring. We are out here, and you can see us because we have always been here, always alternative and a little bit off color in your normality, in your hegemony. We are always living, breathing, feeling, whatever else makes a person. We are spoken down, trodden on, legislated against, lined up at a fence, gifted a closet to live in, dress up in, and die in. How dare we come out? See, it turns out queers should be obscene and not heard.
On deck, we have John Bolin, but coming up now, please go wild for Rachel Meaney!
Well, it would be easier if you were a bit thinner, said the man on the crowded bus. I was politely excusing myself as I squeezed through the standing passengers, already anxious to get off at the right stop, feeling uncomfortable in my body as it inconvenienced people, because they have to move to give me space, because I take up more than most. The words took me by surprise. They stung like an unexpected Nerf dart to the face. Pain, shock, anger, all in a split second. Now, I would love to tell you that I replied with a well-thought-out, scathing retort. But when I opened my mouth, the words I spat out were not very eloquent. I made it off the bus. Feelings came at me, out of me as tears. I mean, he wasn't wrong. So many things would be easier if I was a bit thinner, or a bit taller, or my eyesight was a bit better, or I was a little bit less dyslexic. Even more things would be easier if my mental health was a bit better. Or, if people were a bit nicer. But this is who I am. It's what I am. And I like me. And to anyone who doesn't agree, I'll say what I said to the man on the bus. Screw you, asshole!
On deck, we have Elizabeth Flett, but coming to the stage now, go wild for John Bolin!
I mind the evening calm off King's Cross Point. The splash and plop of ripples on the planks. My feyther's forearms flexing at the oars. We hand-lined haddies. Scallops for our bait. A bairn should have fine memories of a boat. She minds the chop came up halfway across. The rubber raft was raxing with the waves. Chilled water, salt crust in a reen, afore the sieve cowped hour. A bairn should hae fine memories of a boat. I mind the shingle crunch as we found the shore. And nudge it to a halt. The splash of cold water as we jumped to the sides to draw it up. A puckle flatties in the box. A bairn should hae fine memories of a boat. My feyther was conscripted in his teens, shipped out for Greenock to oppress Hong Kong. In Port Said, he dive it aff the bow into the warm surprise of tropic seas. A bairn should hae fine memories of a boat. He minds the heave and thaw of the prison hulk, sifting forgotten freedoms for the swell, and Ahmed snoring in the other bunk, the funk of breaths recycled. A bairn should hae fine memories of a boat. My DNA is Galgale, Norse and Celt, Economic migrants burrowing west, surfacing the swell to Iceland and beyond. Fierce folk, fine sailors. A bairn should hae fine memories for a boat. They mind missing their mother on the beach, chittering and davert among the cast-off life preservers, failed at last, counting the selpies scrambling for the surf. A bairn should hae fine memories o' a boat. Fae beaker folk to Windrush we arrived, in hulls miraculously buoyant. We are all boat folk, ettlin' for a shore, testing our sea legs on another's land. A bairn should have fine memories of a boat.
On deck, we have Joe Gilbert, but keep that love going as we welcome to the stage Elizabeth Flett.
Dear period, I appreciate the enthusiasm. I do. The efforts to which you go to let me know that I am once again not pregnant are unparalleled. I mean, it would be more useful information if I wasn't stone cold gay, but you know, you do you. Not quite sure what I did to piss you off so spectacularly, mind you. I hear not everyone has cramps so bad they cannot stand. Silent tears, twisted bed sheets, ruined underwear, 2 to 3 working days of hell. You're stubborn. I will give you that. I have cycled through 3 different kinds of pain medication and 3 different kinds of period products, and you are still the one that comes out on top every single bloody time. Mefenamic acid made me nauseous. Tampons were fine until I accidentally took one out dust dry, muffling my scream in the public bathroom toilet cubicle. Pads crumpled themselves up, ripping out half my pubic hair on the adhesive lining as I tried to get them off my ruined pants. Moon cups were great. Until that time that someone walked into the kitchen as I was boiling mine and said, "Hey, what are you cooking?" And I had to say that what I was cooking was the thing that had been inside me half an hour previously, collecting my uterus lining. Or the time that my moon cup got twisted inside me mid-insertion and I had to get wrist deep in my own blood to try and fix it. You know, fangirly stuff. Period. Listen to me. We've been at war, you and I, since I was 11. I know this battlefield because I grew up on it, but please. We're meant to be in connection, you and I. A woman and her womanhood. We both know that's bullshit. But please, we are in this for the long haul. So next time you come, try and come with a little bit more gentleness. It will be easier on us both. Thank you.
On deck, we have MC but making their way to the stage just now. Please go absolutely wild for the wonderful Joe Gilbert!
Thank you. Remembered I'm quite small this way. The inside of my head. My naggy, messed up enemy is a turbulent creature. My thoughts are river rapids rushing through at 1,000 miles an hour. It is a non-stop running commentary on everything I see or do or don't do, as the case may be. Holy shit, if I even think about doing something, devil-heed will jump on me. It sneers and sees and breathes out hatred. It slags off me and all my mates, clinging on to fears within, lies in wait for just the right bait. And some days it gets me hook, line, and sinker, and other days I can't even get out of bed. You can imagine then the fear I felt when my brain went on fire by a big idea. I think I want to try writing poetry. But not just any old poetry. Oh no. Performance poetry, where I'd have to stand up on a stage in front of actual people and speak words that have come straight from my heart, but the deep part that's hidden from you, from me, well, fucking everybody. And I told somebody else, and they said it was a good idea, and oh God, it has heard you. Run, Jojo, run! A fucking poet? Fucking poetry? What the fuck do you know about that? You know fuck all about poetry. There's no way you're gonna stand up and spit out your soul. It's strangers you don't even know. I don't think so. That's never gonna happen. They're gonna think you're shit. You are shit. You're gonna get bottled off the stage. Don't put yourself through that nightmare. Put that fucking pen down. There's no point. Go home. In fact, there's no fucking point at all. Just kill yourself. I cannot cut my own head off and leave it behind. So I try not to listen, and I talk and I listen to other people whose heads are like mine. The best way I've heard it described, it's like having the sergeant dude from Full Metal Jacket who shouts things like, "Private Pyle, did your mom and dad have any other children that lived?" Except it's in your own voice and less funny but more cruel. But once you find the volume control, you don't have to listen. No. We can turn that motherfucker down and go and be whatever the fuck you want to be and write poems called The Inside of My Head and read them on stage with no fear or shame. Kind of like this.
On deck, we have Callum O'Dwyer, but coming to the stage now, please keep the applause going for NC!
Hi, guys. The poem I'm going to perform is a piece about struggling to identify. I have a confession. I never fully felt welcomed by Scotland at first. The phrase, "You can't be Irish, you're black," became very common to me. People judged my hair. People didn't seem to like my hair. They thought it was too greasy, a poof ball. Or my Nigerian culture. I never fully claimed being Nigerian in high school, and the Ebola song only made it worse. I never fully was comfortable in my identity. Questions like, am I Nigerian, am I Irish, or am I even black enough, became very common. But despite all of this, I still have love for Scotland, because it was Scotland that gave me a chance to find myself. It introduced me to Intercultural Youth Scotland and African Caribbean societies. It kind of gave me a chance to redefine how I identify myself. I don't need to fit the stereotypes. Yes, I really enjoy rock and country music, and I do like Guinness with Coke. I know that's an abomination, but it's quite nice. And no, I can't dance, nor can I understand or speak pidgin. But that is all right, because the one thing I've learned from Scotland is that these identities and cultures are so much more than fitting these stereotypes. It's about love, community, culture. And I found that here in Scotland. Thank you.
Just some love for NC! On deck we have Sid, but coming to the stage just now, please go wild for Callum O'Dwyer!
Armstrong. Neil's arms were so strong. He reached out and pinned a flagpole into the surface of the moon, into dust as soft as chalk from a blackboard. His arms, with the American superpower strength of 4.4% of Cold War government spending, had been flung through 385,000 kilometers in a rocket with less processing power than a pocket calculator. If his arms were strong, his mind was fast, ripping quadratic equations apart like phone books, biting into Bernoulli like bacon, tasting the hiss of steam tables. He hopped down the ladder, with feet to the power of E, exponentially expanding one small step into a rather large leap. His eyes scanned the horizon, this monochromed, cratered, husky horizon. His eyes flicked up to catch a bright blue, bold world in his pupils. He saw billions of eyes looking back through millions of wormhole television sets. He saw hundreds of countries struggling against each other like bacteria in a petri dish. He studied the gate of America, still limping 5 years after JFK took a bullet, 9 years after he promised a man on the moon. The milky clouds changed the form of the face of his wife, his children too. He grimaced with a spark of pain as he read Karen Armstrong, 1960, 1962. He read the forces of history, shook the hand of every man, woman, child alive. He danced on the shoulders of giants. He gave Jesus a high five. And he felt the gravity of the 30th century school child's pen writing in his name to answer 7. Neil Armstrong looked up, raised a camera to his eye, and captured a fraction of what he saw. A pale blue dot, skirting in the darkness like a lily on a pond. Neil Armstrong thought he'd feel like a giant. But instead, he felt very, very small.
On deck, we have Fiona Robertson, but making his way to the stage, please go absolutely nuts for Sid O'Sullivan!
The best thing about getting old is you get a bus pass. The rest of it is shite. There we go. Has anyone seen Mrs. Polythene, the incredible, invisible woman? Although she's never seen, she is very clean, Mrs. Polythene, the incredible, invisible woman. She's got invisible eyes, invisible nose, invisible feet with invisible toes, invisible hair with invisible bows. And where she lives, nobody knows. She goes to the cinema and gets in free. She goes to the theatre and gets in free. She goes to the football and gets in free. To be invisible, I wish it were me. She's married to a plastic bag who calls himself Bin Liner. Her friends, they are all double glazed, though nothing could be finer. Has anyone seen Mrs. Polythene, the incredible invisible woman? Although she's never seen, she is very clean, Mrs. Polythene, the incredible invisible woman. To her children, she's transparent. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Guys, on deck we have Aaron Smith, but please give some love now as we welcome to the stage Fiona Robertson!
Thanks. I need extra help. The other night, I was reading about how humans imbue ordinary objects with meaning, and I remembered. I was 17 and weird, and had a tub of gold angel table confetti. I kept a handful in my purse and handed it out to strangers. A few years later, a man catches my eye across a smoky room. He takes out his wallet, and there, in the photo ID window, is a very scratched, worn angel. He tells me he kept it all that time because it felt like someone saw him. He was less alone. It was such a tiny thing. I told the story on Twitter, and a day later, I was flooded with stories of the everyday alchemy of pin badges and Christmas cards and books and post-it notes, bus tickets and dried leaves, the lives they saved, the dead they keep present. I have a fabric flower on my dashboard. A summer fairy gave it to me at Beltane as I leant on my dearest friend in firelight. Its smoke and spring grass scent is long gone, but every time I look at it, I feel T's arm in mine from across an ocean. But what I keep coming back to is this. In that long gone club, I'd like to hug the man who kept a gold foil angel, but I'd love to hold that weird 17-year-old girl's hands and tell her I'm sorry. I hated her. I made her sit in front of mirrors and stare to punish her for being this. I told her every day she was worthless. I told her everyone would be better without her, until she took knives to her arms to keep me quiet. And in all that pain, she handed out angels and smiles, glitter and hope. And I want her to know she was so beautiful, that weird, sad kid. She is so much more than nothing. She turns table confetti into touchstones and creates meaning out of madness. She is magic. And I want her to know she wins. She loves the world so much in all its beauty and cruelty. She loves people hard enough that I eventually become a buzz in the back of her head. I want her to know, she who couldn't see living out the week, that eventually she will have a crow's hoard of shining things from her long marriage. She will have mugs and magnets from friends. She will have fabric and photographs, coins and Christmas ornaments, hairpins from holidays and dinosaurs she buys for herself on bad days. She will be surrounded by the alchemy of a life worth living, because as her scars fade to silver, she will turn a dark world into gold. Thank you.
Guys, on deck, we have Abigail Underwood, but coming to the stage, our penultimate poet, go wild for Aaron Smith!
This is the best idea ever. Once upon a time, someone started a fire. They used it to boil some water and turn it to steam, and the steam rotates a fan, which makes a magnet turn inside a metal coil and makes the light go on. It was the best idea ever. We decided the best method for this was to burn the remains of our unevolved ancestors after we got them out of the ground, of course. The fire from that would boil the water to make the steam, to turn the fan, to rotate the magnet inside the metal coil and make the light go on. It's the best idea ever. But some people didn't like the smoke and the fact that we would eventually run out of dinosaur bones to burn. So we found some radioactive material. It was really hot. So we put it next to the water to make it boil, to make the steam, to turn the fan, to rotate the magnet inside the metal coil and make the light go on. It's the best idea ever. But some people didn't like how unstable the radioactive material was, or that it had a habit of making other things all radioactive and hard to get rid of. Some people said we could just put the fan in moving water, or put the fan somewhere windy. And when it turned, it would rotate the magnet inside the metal coil and make the light go on. But those people are crazy. But don't worry. We have a new idea. We will take all of the rotten, broken, moldy, dirty, and only occasionally toxic rubbish that society craps out and set it on fire to boil the water, to make the steam, to turn the fan, inside, make the magnet turn inside the metal coil and make the light go on. It's the best idea ever.
We have come to our final poet. Please give all the love and the warmest welcome to Abigail Underwood.
Hello, remember me? Your sexy satin slip of a dress? The one that barely covers your breasts. Yeah, you remember. Do you remember how you felt when you took me home so full of confidence and willing to throw your libido a bone? What happened to that? It's been 6 months and the only thing that's been tied up are my price tags in your oversized period pants. Look, I've heard dating in your 30s is less flirty and more, what a fuck. With aubergine emoji, after tongue out emoji, after water droplet emoji, after big lips emoji, after random erect penis. It's enough to make anyone gag, and not in a good way. And then, when you try and flip the coin, it's more competitive than compassionate, with conversations more reminiscent of a bingo hall over who's got it all. Got a full-time job, own my own car, own my own house. Then, when they don't make you feel like the shit on their shoe for staying off paths you outgrew, there's banality after banality until you think you've lost your sanity. 6-minute-long voice notes instead of, hi, how are you? Or a list of red flags, do's and don'ts, likes and dislikes, until you feel like a shopping list someone left at home. Now, I know that's why you've left me crumpled in here all alone, but I think it's time I saw the sun. Do you think if I had an inkling of the skin I wouldn't see, I'd have let you wrap me up in tissue paper so easily? I know you're afraid to let a lover raid your cave, but all princesses have to kiss a few frogs. Don't let those wannabe stallions book you off course. Take hold of those reins, ride the horse, and jump over those hump days so you can feed the pony who we both know is chomping at the bit. Come on, we deserve to be seen, the ultimate dream team. It's not so obscene to let this satin gleam with nothing in between those silken legs, waxed in anticipation of climax. Who cares if it's been a while? Stop running a mile in the opposite direction towards an abundance of empty AAA batteries and a centrally dipped memory foam mattress. Let me empower you and your flower, not to cower in the corner. Bloom bright, you sexy, sexy bitch, and rediscover that delightful itch of pitching your privates to handsome devils on dates you'll later rate with your mates as you recall the inches without flinching. You are worth every awkward selfie, every this doesn't work for me, every dodged bullet, every swipe left, every promise of a gentle caress. Be bold, be strong, and remember, you can always put me back on.
Guys, can we just get a huge round of applause for all of our slammers in the first round? And it is times like these I am happy I am a host instead of a judge. Guys, that is amazing. It's what I was talking about at the start of the first round is like slams are insane. And what we found out this year, especially in this slam series that we've been doing, is the quality has been annoyingly high. Like there is, a hair's breadth between all of those poets. I can already see annoyed judges staring at the paper. So like, whoever goes through to the second round will have absolutely deserved it, as did the people who sadly won't have made it through to the second round. Like, you could genuinely have anyone from that first round. I'm sure everyone agrees. That was like a really, really high quality. I'm going to get in so much trouble from the judges during the break. We are going to go into a little break because there's a lot of math to be done. What we will do is we'll have sort of 15 minutes, come back about 10-2, and we will kick off the second round. And what I will do is then I will read out the 6 poets that have made it through to the second round. So you can't leave. You got to stay to find out. But yes, we will catch you in about 15, 20 minutes, something like that. 10-2, 5-2. I'll shout into the microphone when I want you to sit down. See you in a bit! Hello, 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 and welcome back to the second round for the Loud Poets North Heat Slam! Thank you so much for coming back. Did everyone get a drink? Fantastic. Good. Don't worry, there'll be plenty of more time for adult beverages. But for now, it is time for poems. Guys, we are going to announce the 6 poets that are through to the second round, and then we will have a little set with our wonderful sacrificial poet, Tyrone Lewis, as we give those 6 poets a chance to bend their mind around the fact that they're into the second round. As I said, and seeing that it was impressed upon me by the judges, there was fractions of points in it. They wanted me to make that very clear. Like I said to all the poets before we got started and at the interval, like, it really is tiny margins. So please do not feel there is a judgment on your poetry if you didn't make it through, all right? It was a very, very tough first round. That was amazing. But the 6 poets heading through to the second round, and they will be reading in this order, is Abigail Underwood, Fiona Robertson, Callum O'Dwyer, Joe Gilbert, Elizabeth Flatt, and Nick Bagshaw. So just because all the poets will have had an out-of-her-body experience there, that is Abigail, Fiona, Callum, Joe, Elizabeth, and then Nick rounding off. But can we just get a huge, huge round of applause for all of our first-round slammers? Slam can be a really scary thing to do. You are putting your work out there to be judged, and that is just always awful. So it means a lot to me that you guys were so supportive, so wonderful in the first round. Please keep that up as we go through the night. I know anyone who comes out on top will have absolutely deserved it. I can tell that right after that first round. The judges are going to be so angry at me. It's a long drive back to Edinburgh. But for now, we can dodge that bullet for me as we settle into a bit of a sacrificial set. Like I said, I wanted to give those poets a little chance to compose themselves, frantically decide a second poem because they didn't think they'd get through to that round, and give them that time. So please help me welcome back our wonderful sacrificial poet. Make some noise for Tyrone Lewis!
Hello. Cool. I'm going to start off with the title poem for my first book. The book is called Blackish. Therefore, this poem is called Blackish, because that's how title poems work. On the days that I'm reminded that I am black, this city's police siren heartbeat turns into a threat. I wear fair skin tight, hoping it can mask my melanin, and every bag they clutch closer to their chest is a gut punch, and I'm struggling to breathe like he did. On the days that I'm reminded that I am black, every hashtag hacks at me. Every tweet in sympathy is a reminder that I do not share the protection of their complexion, whilst every tweet in anger is a call to action, and I'm reminded that I do not act. I have been called Oreo more times than I've been called the N-word. I have been told you don't seem that black more times than I've been to the Caribbean, more times than I've been to Africa. I have more white relatives than black ones, and whilst we may not share blood, my mouth doesn't get calling them uncle or auntie like it does my father's siblings. On the days that I'm reminded that I am black, I am 23 and sitting in a pub in Tottenham. We are celebrating 2 years of knowing each other's existence, and that's when she says she can't believe she's friends with two of us. And I keep smiling, keep drinking, and she keeps talking, and I can feel the air being dragged out of my lungs, white knuckles refusing to loosen their grasp on my breath. She leaves me gasping for breath, and I can't even garner a response for her. She leaves me 15. Where I am being pulled out of my arts mock exam with 5 of the boys that share my pigment. My guidance counselor asks me what do I want to be when I grow up, and I tell her I want to go into advertising, and she tells me, but you're black. Her bullet words hit me before I have time to get my hands up. She keeps firing. First round of lip service, second round of quotas. She keeps firing because they always keep firing. On the days that I'm reminded that I am black, my skin's heritage is built up on corpses, and I am too afraid to visit their graves. I am too scared to see their tombstones. I do not feel like one of them, but every time I look down, I am reminded. On the days that I'm reminded that I am black, I am being mistaken for another boy at a festival because we all look the same. I am being mistaken for another boy at a gig I am headlining because we all look the same. I am washing my face free of the mud, hoping that I don't look the same. On the days that I'm reminded that I am black, I'm hoping that people don't forget. I'm hoping I don't have to be reminded again soon. Thank you. That book came out in 2019, and in what's now going to be, as a Tyrone checks the date, 1 month and 3 days' time, I'm going to have my second book out. Thank you, that is the appropriate response. The first book was called Blackish. The second book is going to be called Too Black, Too Furious. Thank you. Though that being said, given doing a second book, I was thinking of I am a very movie and film person, so I saw the second book as a sequel. And if I'm doing a sequel, I felt like I had to have a sequel poem in my book as well. So whilst the book is called Too Black, Too Furious, and I've got a whole lot of stuff about that and some Fast and Furious stuff, which I might get a little bit into later, I also want to do a sequel to my Blackish poem. So this poem is called Blackish 2 Electric Boogaloo. The public demanded that we do a sequel, saw the reactions to the first poem, and conceded that even if the second one isn't as good, the profit margins could be better. They gave us more budget for the second poem. This time, there's even more line breaks. We added some more stanzas, too. Kept the length changing so the poem's pacing keeps you on your toes. The CGI has improved so you can't tell the metaphors from the reality, and the publishers saw the potential in my racial conflict and deemed it a viable franchise with spin-off and merchandising materials. This time it's blacker. We don't know what that means either, but we know that there's more gratuitous cameos in this one. We dug up Trayvon and George and Breonna and Damilola because we know that shit sells. Audiences responded well to the trauma in the first one, so we mined more of that for you this time around, and then stuck in Chris Pratt for the star power. We're going to mention Meghan Markle in this one just to piss off Clarkson and Morgan. Figured it'd be controversial enough to get us a full half hour as the lead topic on the Jeremy Vine show, with callers debating over just how racist this poem is. We'll let the black guy survive this one. Studio wanted to make sure there was a trilogy still possible, but we're warning you not to get attached to the supporting cast. There's only so many black characters we can feature in a mainstream poem. Publishers said they had to make sure this poem stands out from the crowd, so they're only putting out 1 black poem in this quarter. Their release schedule can't possibly have 2. If this poem is profitable, then the next one can be about black joy. we need to see the financial returns first before we can make that shit canon. Thank you. So, to go into a slight little bit of depth with it, so the second book in Go Too Black, Too Furious, and part of the point of that is I want to talk about more black stuff because surprisingly there's a lot of black things to talk about. But also with my first book, it was a lot more about me and how I see myself as a black person, and in the second book, there was a lot more touching on family as well, and as I hope people that are film fans are aware, the Fast and Furious films are very family-focused films. And so it's like, cool, family, black, let's combine the two. But then it's like, if I'm going to call the book Too Black, Too Furious, I also need to have some actual Fast and Furious poems in the book. And then to challenge myself even further, it's not just having Fast and Furious poems in the book, it's having a Fast and Furious sonnet in the book. So this poem is called Sonnet F9 Tokyo Drift. Two drivers, both alike in quality, now with Corona placed in every scene. From street race grudge births to civility, where diesel blood makes diesel's hands unclean. So fast, furious nature of these foes, a pair of street race legends ride or die, whose misadventures the Rock overthrows, complete with Jason Statham driving by. The 9-part story of their death-marked love and the countenance of audience eyes, which but a financial flop naught could remove, is now a mega successful franchise, the likes of which the world must all attend, where here we'll see where Race Wars ends. A thrilling tale this movie with it brings, the cars, John Cena fans met with such bliss, the emotions that Charlie Puth doth sing, some may call it crazy, some ludicrous. I know. But that's because for never was there a film of more woe than this of O'Connor and his Toretto. A lot of the vibe with the new book, and I'm doing a lot of stuff in the new book, was that thing of like, I've had an idea for a while, and feck it, this is the time to test out this idea. So I don't know where you're going to fall in this Venn diagram, but this is for people who like poetry and also like Gilbert and Sullivan. I am the very model of a poet individual. My poetry is topical, political, and whimsical. I know the slams of England, and for open mics, a lot of them, from Hit the Ode to Lovely Word and Grizzly Pear in Birmingham. I'm very good with references. My use of them is clinical, a true pop culture powerhouse. I'm at the top, the pinnacle. It's like an art form of its own. Tell Angela I am the boss. Like Tina said, simply the best like no one ever was. I'm really good at feature sets and headlining a lot of nights with poetry that's virtuous, that aims to change wrongs into rights. In short, it matters topical, political, and whimsical. I am the very model of a poet individual. I know our poet's history. There's Tennyson and William Blake. I know the modern torchbearers. I know the apple and the snake. I'm quite abreast at reading books, so many poets I have read whose poetry will stick with me. Their words will never leave my head. And my poetry is humorous, but then sometimes can make you cry. I love to hear your oohs and ahs. I love when tears fall from your eyes. My serpent tongue can turn a phrase right into something sinister. I do highbrow but simple too, so yeah, fuck the Prime Minister. Then I can write my debut book and publish it with Burning Eye and in it talk of Kanye West and tell you just how black am I. In short, it matters topical, political, and whimsical. I am the very model of a poet individual. In fact, when I know what is meant by enjambment and iambic, when I can bust out lines I know will always make the people click, when I can take a commission and just complete it in my stride, you'd think that I'd been on TV like those poets picked for Nationwide. When I have learned what progress has been made in modern publishing, when I can go and work the crowd like I am in a wrestling ring. In short, when I have a smorgasbord of literary strategy, you'll say I am iconic like I am Bohemian Rhapsody. For my vast poetic knowledge, though it's geeky on the nerdy side, has only helped a little bit. I've always enjoyed the ride. You see, in matters topical, political, and whimsical, I am the very model of a poet individual. Thank you. God. Whew. Cool. Yeah, that was a lot of words and all of that. If you want to buy the words, I've got my book called Blackish. It's over there. I will end my set with one more poem from that book, but also this is my chance to introduce to you. I'm going to jokingly say I brought them up exclusively all the way from London, ignoring the fact that they've been working with lad poets for the past 8 years. Nevertheless, I'm going to introduce you formally to the wonderful musician and also photographer and all of the things that is Jack Hinks. Yeah! Whilst we have already gone over the music, I kind of want to go with this poem. If we're going to go for 3 words, as has been suggested as well, I am going to say high-functioning sociopath. Love it. So yeah, I'm Tyrone Lewis. I've got the book there. I've also got 3 bookmarks there if you want them as well. Please do take some bookmarks. They're good. And as a lot of my Hinge dates have told me, I'm very easy to find online. So if you want to know more about me, apparently I'm very easy to Google. But yeah, this next poem is called Sherlock. I will let Jack start. I want to see a film where Samuel L. Jackson plays Sherlock Holmes. Ice Cube can be his hype man, Dr. Watson, and Morgan Freeman can play Mycroft. This film will be called either Sherlock Homie or Holmes Boy. There will be a scene where Sherlock leaves 2-1-B bakery to get a 453 to Elephant and Castle, and during that bus ride, he'll spend it talking to a 10-year-old black kid because that is the only person who understands him. There will be a scene where young Sherlock first tries to deerstalker for the first time so people stop touching his hair. There will be a cameo appearance from Stormzy in the rap battle scene, and there will be a scene where Samuel L. Jackson, Sherlock Holmes, gets pissed off at the bad guy and yells, "Elementary motherfucker, do you understand it?" And there'll be no guns in this film. This film does not use to further the idea that that is the only way for us to hold power. We do not need another visual representation of how black people carry death in their hands. There'll be no dead relatives to motivate characters in this film. There are enough dead black people already. We don't need to invent new ones. There'll be no pimps or hoes or whores or hookers central to this film's plot, and there'll be no use of the word nigger in this film, because this film is not about reclaiming that word, and most importantly, this film cannot be black. Because I'm tired of black films. Nobody's going to watch this film just because there are black people in it. They're going to watch this film because this film is going to be fucking awesome. At Halloween, when people dress up as this version of Sherlock Holmes, they won't be the black Sherlock Holmes. They will just be Sherlock Holmes. And there'll be none of our suffering showcased in this film because we are more than that. We are more than the film directed by Spike Lee. More than the film starring Will Smith or Kevin Hart, one black actor does not a diverse film make. Hollywood, we are so much more than you give us credit for. See, I want to make this whole entire film for that one little black kid we saw at the start of it. I want to see him telling all of his friends that he is certain that Sherlock survived the Peckham rifle with Moriarty. Moriarty is played by Denzel, obviously. And his friends will laugh at him. And defeatedly he'll look out the window of his 453, but see Sherlock on a 453 next to him. And in this moment, you won't pay attention to what colour this kid's skin is. The look of wonder on his face will be too distracting as Orr pulls his mouth into a smile. See, I want this to be the film that I wish that I could have grown up with. Thank you very much.
And can we get some love for Mr. Jack Hinks? Jack will be back in the 3rd round to accompany the 3 final poets. But for now, we still have the 2nd round to tackle. Poets, I hope that gave you a chance to collect yourself. It may have backfired and just made you go, oh, fuck, follow Tyrone. Okay, no worries. Everyone, I would please check out Tyrone's book. I have a copy. It is a wonderful, wonderful book. You'll be so pleased to get it. His work is marvelous, and it is as good on the page as it is in performance. He's one of those annoying poets. So yeah, please do check that out. I'm very excited for the new one to come out. If you don't know anything about Fast and Furious, I can only apologize. That's, you book them, you get what you get. Guys, just a quick reminder, in the second round, it's going to be Abigail, Fiona, Callum, Joe, Elizabeth, and then Nick. Are you ready for the second round? Then let's fuck about. No longer on deck, we have Fiona Robertson, but making their way to the stage. Go wild for Abigail Underwood.
Doesn't everyone love a fairy tale? Princesses and princes, kings and queens, a woman lost in a forest without correct means, and then along comes a man on a stallion, of course, a great big fucking beast of a white horse, and his damsel in distress detector dings in his head, and away he goes to make his daily bread. Oh, thank you, she says, when the saviour saves the day. That's what I'm here for, as he sweeps her away. He takes her to safety, placing her gently on a soft mossy mound. Then he takes her by the hand as his knee hits the ground. Will you marry me? He declares in awed and love-struck wonder. I thought you'd never ask, she replies, their lives no longer in sunder. They kiss. Droves of doves serendipitously released from their leafy boughs, cooing in unison to the heartbeats heaving from our lover's new vow. He lifts her up again and places her side saddle before lifting a strong leg of his over to sit in a confident straddle. She clutches at the princely raiment around his waist as he spurs at his stallion and bids him make haste, and off our lovers go into the sunset to live happily ever after. But it's not fucking real, is it? And this Disney paradigm of romantic attachment has left a generation of adults alone and bereft, blind to the dangers of cunts with honeyed tongues, while we position ourselves as damsels who've never won, believing wannabe Raphaels who tell you, you're my muse. All the sculptors would choose to sit and carve your curves into the columns of their marble as their soft lips touch the soft parts of your skin, their pleading eyes penetrating the romantic within until every thought you have is reframed by their existence and you drink their body like a limited vintage, and suddenly you're always drunk. Sustained by Shakespeare's sonnets, sung by a thespian who's convinced themselves and you that they care only for you, that they breathe only for you, that they live only for you. I was caught off guard by a soul-quenching kiss near a river. And the cliche that followed borrowed too much from storybooks, believing I was falling for you, but I was just falling headfirst into fucking a crook from the ultimate stud book, too distracted to notice the growing emotional distance, the eyes that meet that don't see the same thing, the trauma seeping out of the folds of my skin, till the only things left were the imprint of his spurs on my hips, the burns left by poisoned sips, and me cursing myself for being bruised and confused. Renaissance patrons would have raped me and left. Fairy tales can fuck off.
We have Callum O'Dwyer on deck, but for now, please help me welcome back to the stage the phenomenal Fiona Robertson!
So before I got sick, I was studying theoretical physics. That's probably what made me sick, but you know. This is called My Favorite Thing About Physicists. There was a hypothesis in the 60s, untestable for years, until new technology was developed just for this. Colliders were built, tested, failed, and dismantled. 10,000 scientists collaborated from 100 nations. Took 10 years to build a tunnel deep under the ground of 2 countries to fire unimaginably small particles at each other to test the hypothesis. 40 years after the search began, after countless experiments finding all the places the boson was not, and 2 years after the first proton beams fired, the world descended on CERN to see history being made as 2 teams announced the Higgs had been found. What I love about physicists is not just the tenacity, not just the will to build giant machines to answer a childhood question, why? It's not that people worked across decades to get just a little closer to that day, or worked over continents because discovery and meaning transcend borders. It's not just the joy of the revelation. It's that in the hours before the announcement was made, journalists wandered the halls of CERN with their gotcha question. What if the announcement is that after all this time, after all this money, all these people who've spent their whole careers on this question, what if the announcement is the Higgs does not exist? And those journalists were confused because every scientist they asked lit up like a star. They managed to get out the obligatory employed person caveat of, yes, of course we hope that it's existing. And then words like sparklers, like a meteor shower, about what it would mean if they were wrong. Wrong would bring whole new fields of physics. Wrong means everything is possible again. Discovery is a triumph and an ending. Wrong is a beginning. Thank you.
Give it up for Fiona Robinson! The poet on deck is Joe Gilbert, but please go crazy as we welcome back Callum O'Dwyer!
Thank you. I wrote this 2 years ago. Professional time waster. It's hard work passing time quickly, forcing your way upstream, a rising resistance with every step like running in a dream. Or it's like non-Newtonian fluids, okay? It thickens up the more you stress, so don't work so hard. Glide through. With time, you get more doing less. I swill the days in long, lazy circles so they vortex out the bottle. I can't stand living through choking bubbles, juddering gulps, throttling glottal. No. Keep meals at set times. Know how far you can walk. Deploy it as a yardstick. Learn how much you can talk. Let the days fall into beats like the drums of a known song. A muster picking up your feet. An ode for the past days gone. And if you think this sounds dull, well, this is just a taster. I have been feasting at that buffet, the professional time waster. 'Cause I caught the bug and I never got better. Each morning I play a scratch card. The prize is whether I feel 1% less dreadful than good news. Out of 523 tries, I've won a handful. But I can hardly work. I wrote this from bed. So I have no choice but to finally dice the minutes until they make me cry. Days ground, fired, pain to make glass houses to watch years of sun bleach streak the sky, creasing it like the growing lines on my hands. I watch my muscles shrink like grapes in the sun. Watch spent months burnt whole just for the chance of a few more chips at the wheel, all in hope. Recovery will be won. This is where this poem is ending. It's only my life to be living, to be giving. The stiff rod of hope keeps me going and wasting time for a living.
Callum O'Dwyer, everybody! On deck we have Elizabeth, but coming to the stage right now, please Go absolutely wild for the wonderful Joe Gilbert! Remember your short next time.
Thank you. Wish I was kind of short the other way, but it's not happening now. Set the scene. Let me set the scene. We tyke, berry red cheeks, peppered freckles. Neglected, less respected, fettered. She grew deterred, preteen rebel rejects precepts. She felt pretend, never pretty, never perfect. Gents v femmes, she settles between them, hence defy the herd. Get elsewhere, sheep! Cement grey sky, tenements edge the scheme. We're spry, keen mystery jets, fresh and zesty energy, shyness recedes. Come here, get wrecked. Tenants and meshed X's, weed greener, spew everywhere. Creeps detect her, expect sex. She repels them, yet they embezzle her flesh, shelled by 3 never gentle men. We defend them, shh, never tell. She regresses, keeps secrets 20 feet deep. Delete scene. Next, she enters messy, demented Eves. Men get bellends, leches, hedge every bit. Yes, we can bend her. Let's get ease, speed, self-use, spend plenty, then exceed every check. Hype jesters revel, we rhyme, we reel, we yell. Here we, bleep. Flex, step flex, feet veer left, melded by tech sets, reverb. Let's see your steel wheels, DJ. Nether the sheen her etched pelt frets, stretched extremes emerged, they're relentless. Entrenched endless excess, get sleep pellets, meds, mezzy. These severe cycles stem her reverses. Self-esteem lessens, depressed spells lengthen. Then she belts, Led Zepp, the Verve, Mycam, screeches, vents her spleen, vehemence, frenzy. She expels the event, knee-jerk beer sesh, these, them, then neck the dregs. Feed her, render her legless, speechless, less. Tense, get the teenth. Needles, meth, melted every sec, swelter, restless legs, neglect self. Extended sentence. She wept her eyes desert dry, and her peeps deem, get expert help. She flees the scene, perseveres, rests, reflects, benches or meds, defects the trenches, petty resentments, neggy effects, leeches, the serpent spectres, feck dependence. She sets defenses, centers, gets better, pens verse, lets secrets fly, she'll never deny herself. She deserves respect, feels effervescent. She's bested the system. Hell ended. She's redeemed. She's free. Scene ends.
On deck, we have Nick Bagshaw, but please welcome back to the stage, Elizabeth Flagg!
Thank you. So this one's called Difficult Topic, and just to give a content warning at the start, it's about religious homophobia. He stops me at the door and asks me to stay. How will discussions ever evolve if we are not willing to engage with those ready to have conversations about difficult topics? Is that what I am now? Now that you have taken my money and said a non-denominational prayer over my head, a difficult topic. The rage which has been building inside me since I saw the title on the PowerPoint screen is beginning to claw at my throat, held only in check by socialized politeness. Size 32, Times New Roman, blue background, the issue of homosexuality. The issue. Seething in my silence as he kindly tells me, as a gay man myself, I find it important to engage rather than just walk away. I want to call him traitor. I want to storm back in and throw a chair at the wall. I want to scream, how dare! I want to tell them that I am the daughter of a preacher better than any one of them could ever hope to be. I want to tally the minutes, the hours, the years, the shaking of hands, the giving of peace, the warm embraces, the quick laughs, to tell them what it is to belong, to talk of the way that this church kid knows how to find a hymn without looking at the book, to yell that I am the one who has always been here. My blood itself is mixed in with the holy wine, my name itself a godly gift. Can you not see? You are the outsiders, the disciples asleep as Gethsemane burns, but instead you stand here in my church, in my land, in my birthright, and you look me in the eye and you tell me that I am the issue. And all I am is heat and fury, and I am the burning bush, and I am John the Baptist berating fools on the riverbank, and my God, why have you forsaken me? And all I want to do is stand on the altar and shout that Jesus was a fucking socialist. That this is not debate. This is just legitimizing hate. That I was here in this damp London church on a cold Tuesday night because God keeps on bloody mindedly insisting that she wants me to be a minister and doesn't seem to care that people don't seem to feel the same way. I say none of this as I turn to go, feet slipping on frost as I shut the doors of the church behind me, his disappointed face watching me from the foyer, but sometimes the only thing we can do for ourselves is walk away, knowing that she walked out the door alongside us. Thank you.
And please help me welcome back to the stage our final poet in the second round. Make some noise for Nick Bagshaw!
I want to draw you, he says. I can make you look beautiful. Thanks. So I look shit generally, is that it? After artistic appraisal, I require reinterpretation for any approximation of aesthetics. No. You look great, but with my charcoal, I can help you. I can elevate. But to commit me to canvas or the page, I need to be improved. The reality of me is not inspiring to you. I'm not much of a muse. That's the crux, the rub. This old boyfriend's a fixer-up, an investment to flip when the market jumps, a foster fuck. Shelter while you're all alone until you're ready for a forever home. I know my market value. Trading sexual capital for mixed securities. I make more in a week of whoring than you have in decades trying to sell your shitty paintings. You're like Danny Minogue, he says. Always coming second to a hotter sister. And he's not wrong on that one. This merchandise will never be catalogue. This body has yo-yoed until the skin broke and snapped like elastic bands, overstretched red cracks in this monument to the fact it's safer to stay 2/3 at least of the no fats, no femmes, no blacks trifecta because they don't target you when you look like that. I see doe eyes honoring me with the chance to be immortalized. Like this is it. Everything I wanted. For the record, I have my own art to spend eternity inside, my own endeavors to bring value to my life. I begin to wonder if the scene from Titanic should have gone like this. I want you to draw me like one of your French girls. which is to say disproportionately, because you're bad at perspective. In this industry, love's on every corner, and I don't need your rebrand. Danny Minogue's a fucking superstar, and second best is still too good for you.
Give it up for Nick Bagshaw! Can we get a huge round of applause for all of our slammers? So yeah, that didn't get any easier for the judges. Wonderful, wonderful. Guys, we are not going to take a break between these rounds. We are going to jump straight into the third round. But while they do some math, I'll shout to you about things. First, a quick note for the slammers. I should have mentioned it earlier. I know your instinct at the end is going to be to schmooze and hug and smoke. Please don't. Stay here. Come up. We're going to get some cast photos of all the slammers together and some photos of the folks that win with the belt and stuff. So please, as soon as we're done, the person's announced and your instinct tells you to flee into the night, remain. Because if I have to herd you, I'll be here forever. And you can be here forever because the wonderful folks at Spin are open till 1. So kick about, have a drink, celebrate with who wins. It will be wonderful. That would be lovely. Please do as well continue to come and support spoken word, speaking weird here at Spin. The work Orla does is amazing. We have been huge fans of speaking weird since its inception. Me and Katie were two of the sort of very first features that got to come up, and it was a huge privilege then, and it's wonderful to see the things that Speaking Weird has gone on to do, the amazing talent they've brought to the stage, but also the amazing talent that has grown on this stage is very cool to see. And it's huge for us. We book a huge amount of events, and seeing all these scenes across the country kind of grow and flourish has been wonderful and makes my job as a promoter so much easier. So thank you for that. Please do continue to come and support Speaking Weird. It would mean a lot to Orla. I know it would mean a lot to the poets in Aberdeen, and it would mean a huge amount to us. So please do that. If you really like the slam, you're like, that was pretty fucking good. We also agree, and so do some other people. We have been shortlisted for the Sabotage Review Awards, which is like a UK-wide kind of award thing, and we are shortlisted for Best Regular Spoken Word Night, which would be massive to win. Not only because, like, winning things is quite nice, as I'm sure all the slammers are thinking, but also because we want to do more of this, and it's so much easier to convince Creative Scotland that there is value in this if we can go, it was the best spoken word night in the UK that year. So please, if you're interested in helping us with that, there is like a thing up at the table where Bex and Tyrone are sitting. It's a QR code. It'll take you straight to the form. You need to vote for like 3 things. If you only know us, I would recommend Imogen Sterling, who's been smashing it this year. Her show, Love the Sinner, was incredible. Vote for that. Vote for her for performer. Carly Brown, who's an amazing stalwart of the UK spoken word scene. Her novella is nominated. It is so cool to see so many Scottish things nominated in the Sabotage Review Awards. So please do consider voting for us. Consider checking out the list and voting for some other very cool folk. The Scottish scene is so underrepresented in the rest of the UK, and when we get something like this, my brain like latches onto it and is like, oh, just we could show them. So yeah, please do that. It would mean a lot. If you're interested in spoken word in general, if you've maybe stumbled in here and are fucking confused but enticed, we have a mailing list, and one of the amazing things that Bex does is collates like all the spoken word nights in the UK that are going on and puts it out every month to try and encourage people. We are not just trying to build our own thing. We want to pipe down, the note is for me. So they're going to think about nothing else now. It's like a dog when you have bacon in your pocket. But yes, we have a mailing list. We don't send tons and tons of stuff, pretty much only pertinent things that are about the scene, about spoken word, about where you can access it. So please consider signing up to that. We are going to be back here at Spin with Speaking Weird. Later in the year, we will be bringing back our format from last year, where we do kind of a mashup of our regular spoken word night with an open mic like, it would be amazing to see you all come back, all the wonderful slammers. I would love to hear all of you read again, so please consider doing that. Yes, I'll read out the fucking names, okay? So yeah, but please do continue to support spoken word. It is so, so important. Yeah, so as I was saying, it's so... It's my favorite bit of every show, because the poets all laugh, but it's one of those laughs where they're dead behind the eyes. Very satisfying. Okay, going through to the final round, they will be reading in this order. Will be, little drum roll going. Nick Bagshaw! Joe Gilbert! And our third finalist, Callum O'Dwyer! Guys, can we get a huge round of applause for all of our second round slammers? Again, I cannot stress enough how much it will have been, tiny fractions of points in between everyone. So please do not feel disheartened if you did not get through to the final. The wonderful thing about the quality being so high from the first round is all the poets are like, oh no, fair fucks, it could have been anyone. So the poets should be chill. Like it could have been any of those 6. It could have been any of the 12. But I think everyone will agree we've got 3 good finalists. Whoever goes on to represent Aberdeen at the EIBF, I'm sure will be more than deserving and have everyone's support. So let's get into the final round. Guys, are you ready for the final? Then please help me welcome Jack Hinks to the stage. No, I didn't forget that we needed Jack for the final and almost shout up, Nick. You're wrong. Jack, as I said, is going to be providing a beautiful musical accompaniment. Poets, when you get to the stage, give him 3 words that sum up the vibe, the tone of your poem. And don't worry, he's a pro. You do what you do. He'll work around you, all right? So guys, please, now, help me welcome to the stage the incredible Nick Bagshaw!
Okay, so this is a Dream Haze breakup elegy, I guess.
Love it.
These are the doldrums years. It's easy to feel stranded here. Drifting in circular currents, too tired, lazy, too still to move between ports on the placid water, wistfully waiting for storms to weather. You come to live for the drama when you've been alone for too long. I remember the departure. We thought going international would be all jet-set allure and dirty weekenders. Horn-rimmed eyes raised in surprise, innuendos flowing over pre-theater wine and not making it out to dinner some nights. Cigarettes, Chanel and social climbing, moonlighting in shades of musk and wine-fueled nights in our newfound glamorous. See, we thought we were gonna be fabulous. Nameless, missed place, rat race weekdays, colors on display accumulating stories, raconteurs, misfit, triptych, mystic bullshit. We'll have so much to say, it'll be fucking entertaining, because we're both fun at parties and we're both artists. We thought we'd accumulate luggage, not baggage. Maybe if I look back far enough, I'll only see the ship and not the wreck. Every mile traveled, a mosaic of misspent moments, minutes, months, a mess. Days wasted on planes, trains, and even a boat that one time when we sank. These are the years of wine and cake. Yeah, we all joke that sounds great, too large to navigate the straits of escape. You ditch your cargo or this is your fate. Dead weight. Floating in empty space, praying the winds and waters will change. Smoke breaks bless the distress like incense, grab the pack, spark to genuflect, pray for preventative intervention and bless the inevitable shipwreck. Isn't it cruel how you split in half and then end up doubling in size? eating your feelings, drinking the fortune you wasted your youth amassing. Failure's freight inflates like the inverse of your self-confidence, buoying the bitter wish you hadn't worked so fucking hard for this. These are the doldrums years. It's easy to be forgotten here.
Thanks for everybody! Our penultimate poet in the second round. Please give all the love. Go absolutely wild as we welcome back to the stage, Joe Gilbert!
Not very much. A hame is a hame is a hame, is it nae? I come fae Bothies and Strathspey, my grunny nicknamed Billy, that I wish had taught me Gaelic as weel as Doric. I come fae words, nae numbers, fae 3 primaries and 2 academies, Maastricht Bacches and the Braes of Hatton. These places relate to me, but they are nae my hame. I come fae Babysham and Blue Lagoons, advocate and lemonade long afore the legal age. For different days, smoking in bairns' faces, hunters of tabbies and ashtrays thick as bricks, enough to burst your skull crimson. I come fae Belizean for a fortnight, and the Dawn's European Cup Winners' Cup song on repeat, we lived our midnight for years. I come fae Nerdsville, for pages of sci-fi and fantasy books ora were being used as escape pods, gateways to worlds I sarely wished were hame. I come for the 80s. Neighbours, Abdi loves squid neighbours. For broths and grolsch bottle tops on your docks, for dying nothing you ain't Blake and becoming a goth. I come for the kaleidoscopic blur of the 90s, for raves, heady weekends, buggy flares, handmade tie-dye, glow-in-the-dark clays, fit by taps and trackies, trekking round the city, thinking you couldn't be any cooler, with tunes blaring out the ghetto blaster on your shooter. And these attempts to belong are part of I am, but temporary faces dinna signal hame. I come for graft and debt, swinging in atween extremes, nae daring to deek above a station it's been hammered into your head. That's nae for you, Baron, that's nae for me. I come for if it were telt is hame. Ali were selt for fun were we that hame exists in mortar and bricks, flags and borders, IKEA furniture, fluty tablecloths laid out a bonny in your farmhouse-style kitchen. Mither making breed wearing a fancy apron, a image is fiction, an illusion for far too many, and we're led to believe if we've nae enough money to get it, something's wrong with us if we dinna hear it. Must nae be grafting hard enough, eh? That is definitely nae hame. I come fae Dina 180 and breaking unwritten rules and learning to trust your own journey. I come fae living in the moment and slowing down enough to hear the answers. And they come. Listen. Electric seconds afore the motion starts. Him. My nephew laughing and singing. Him. Watching the lungs of the world breathe in and out in waves. Him. The way she felt in my arms yon day. Him. I on time looking outside to realise it's here. Your heart's your compass. Him's a feeling, nae a hing. You carry it with you forever you gang.
We have one final poet in the slam, so please give all that energy, all that love as we welcome back Callum O'Dwyer!
Thank you. For Jack, a slow build.
Oh, sweet, let's do it.
Red tape, an ode to health and safety legislation. When the Titanic sank, there were only enough seats on the lifeboats for half the passengers. In a testament to the swagger of the Gilded Age, an unsinkable ship was not required to have enough lifeboats for everyone on board. 62% of first-class passengers survived. 25% of third-class passengers survived. In 1903, at the Iroquois Theatre in Chicago, a fire broke out. Panicked, rushing to exits, people found locks and bars across doors for the performance. Others tore away decorative exits leading to bare walls. And at the main exit, the doors opened inwards. As the crowds poured, desperation welling up behind doors, unable to give way, a pressure vessel set to burst, but didn't. 602 people died. And in 1988, an explosion which consumed the Piper Alpha platform oil rig in the North Sea, 120 miles northeast from here. 167 workers perished. From each of these, from the wrecks and ashes grew shoots of minimum lifeboat requirements for all ships, proper fire doors in the North Sea, one of the strongest safety cultures in the world. The workers, the punters, the third-class passengers, their blood has been woven into thread and rolled into red tape. Written into every subclause of every health and safety legislation are human souls. The words, lest we forget, bleed from the page. The red tape is a barrier which stops our workers from falling into their machines. The red tape keeps your food poison free. The red tape is battery back strip lighting and in-flight safety announcements. The red tape is safe heart transplants. The red tape is crumple zones, 20-mile-an-hour speed limits, seat belts, airbags. The red tape is the thin red line between life and death. The red tape is the joy that we can live and work without threat of careless neglect. In 2013, the then Prime Minister promised to end the culture of health and safety for good. It was reported as a bonfire of red tape. And I think of Grenfell Tower. The boundaries of home, the fabric of life turned into lighter fluid by flammable cladding. A legacy of systematic neglect stacked 24 stories high, consumed in an inferno of red tape. A column of smoke hundreds of miles long and thousands of years wide. Lives turned to ash, time and time again in the ember pits of loopholes. And I know that if we do not weave our red ribbons into vast safety nets, the first class will get the seats on the lifeboats.
Halibut Wire! Judges are going to kill me on the way home. It's been lovely meeting you all. Fuck. What a final round. One big round of applause for our three finalists. Oh. Genuinely incredible stuff. The North Heat's done pretty fucking good. I know whoever is the winner, whoever is the runner-up, you guys are going to be well represented at the EIBF come August. It is going to be very exciting. As I've said, it'll be lovely to see a bunch of you there. Remember, poets, don't leave. I need the photo. You are going to be the thumbnail of the YouTube video. So you all know, if you are interested, you can watch all the other slams. You'll be able to watch this slam back. They all go out for free on our YouTube page. The previous 4 are all up there already. If you cannot make it to the EIBF, do not worry. It will be put up as well. We are going to make sure everyone can see the final and all the other slams. Believe me, the competition will be checking out this one and they may be concerned. It's going to be very exciting. Guys, while scores are being totted, I'll do a poem. Jack, I can't pay all of you. Jack, nature love whiskey. A whiskey company paid me to write this. That's the only reason whiskey came in my head. Stand in the clearing. Stand so still, the only sound you hear is your own breathing. Stand so still, every drop of dew becomes a petal's pearl earring. Have you ever stood so still, you see time retreating, leaving lines of light like waves, not quite breaking, taking too long to touch, suspended just above your reaching. We call that feeling love. The only time winning isn't crossing the finish line first. The goal is the slow crawl, the patient pace of not moving at all, not a rolling stone, but a blanket of moss tossed upon the forest floor, soft and warm. It can be a hard lesson to learn. When reality screams at us, move faster. To play Mother Nature's master, that to move too slow is to court disaster. But if you move too quick, you might just pass her. Never meet the feeling of grass beneath your feet. Never speak to the trees about how it feels to grow so old, or get to know the face of freshly fallen snow. There is so much a single moment can show. If you move slow enough to allow it. In patience, there is power. In knowing when to hold to the seed, or when to flower. Thank you very much. I'm like, I read it and reread it to make sure I don't have like a weird Oscars moment. Like, I don't want to be that guy. Cool. I am only going to announce the runner-up and then the winner, as they're the two that are going through to the thing. If the wine... Remember the beautiful poem I did? Judge me for that. So if the winner would like to come up and join me on stage, that would be delightful. Okay, our runner-up. Give it up for Callum O'Dwyer! Joining Callum at the EIBF on the 26th of August to represent the North at the Loud Poets Grand Slam Final. Please go absolutely batshit for your winner, Joe Gilbert! I'll keep it. Joe is going to give us one last poem to round things off. Guys, can we get one final round of applause for all of your slammers? And please give it up for the champ, Joe Gilbert! Gotta lift the bad boy up.
Fucking thing's bigger than me. I was like, I want to do a poem, but I need my book. Oh my God. Fuck. Ah! Okay. Christ. I don't know what to pick now. I'm like, oh, I'm so fucking high. I'm probably going to be like, what are words again? Right. Okay, I'll let you choose. Do you want a poem about periods? Or do you want a rant against the Tories? But it's quite depressing. Fuck it. Hate the Tories it is. It's quite bleak though. So this poem kind of came about from a workshop that I was in about writing a will. And I hate the fucking Tories so much that I thought, I don't want to leave them anything, but I would really like to curse them. So this is called Legacy. I, Joe Gilbert, on being utterly dead and not merely conked out in or on a hedge/roundabout/floor, etc., leave the following in my wake. To all the Tories I've hated in this life and any subsequent past lives, every single one of you since the dawn of time, and anyone who ever voted Tory, and the ancestors of those who may vote Tory in the future, I curse you with a conscience. Actual concern for your fellow humans, regardless of which school they attended or where they were or weren't born or how much money they have or don't. I leave you chronic, incurable pain and shame. The pious judgment and callous views you heap on others less privileged than yourself. I leave you the same scorn, disdain, and struggle you inflict upon refugees, people of colour, single mothers, the disabled, the LGBTQIA+ community, and any other community that isn't rich or the right colour or shape. I leave you the problems of working class families who are living, no, some of them are existing miserably as a direct result of your policies, flogging contracts and companies to your posh pals for pure profit, lining your own pockets. I gift your quality of life to them and bequeath you theirs, the worst bits. I leave you with despair, disappointment, weariness, and sorrow, with none of the joy we can conjure from nothing. I leave you hungry, with only pasta and tomato sauce, nae Heinz, cold, tinned hot dogs with stale bread and no sauce at all for supper. Never mind about breakfast or lunch. You can't afford them anyway, even if you work. So I leave you unable to drive, with no bus fares and miles of walking in the rain with holes in both your shoes and no money to replace them and no money in the meter to warm up or dry out. When you get to the flat you can't afford to live in because you're being gentrified out of the area you were born in. I leave you daytime TV, and when you are forced to pawn your one source of entertainment for essentials, I leave you hours of staring at the walls, counting down the days to your utterly inadequate benefit payment, which will solve nothing, and hours of standing in job centre queues only to be looked down upon as scum by some jumped-up, pencil-pushing wannabe pseudo-Tory who genuinely fucking believes they've had a hard life, and told to go online when you need a phone and you have neither access to the internet nor a phone, and you can't go to the fucking library because Tory cuts forced them all to close. I grant you no respite from this legacy, an eternal existence of all that you've wrought. I invoke these curses in the names of all the gods. You shall receive nothing as you have given nothing. And I pray my ancestors live long enough to witness your fall.
Joe Gilbert, everybody! Guys, this has been an absolutely incredible slam. Poets, please just come to the stage. We'll get photos and all that done. Everyone, please stick about for a drink. Like I said, the bar is open until 1, so please do all of that. Can we get a big round of applause for the staff here at Spin? Can we get a huge round of applause for our beautiful judges? And a special round of applause for our wonderful Sacrificial Tyrone Lewis! For the incredible Jack Hinks! And one final round of applause for all of your slammers! This has been the Loud Poets Slam. You guys have been fucking awesome. We will see you again soon. Good night! Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, we'd appreciate it if you could hit the like button, if you could hit the subscribe button, and make sure to ring that bell icon so you don't miss any updates from us in the future. If you want to go that extra mile and support us a little further, we do have a Patreon channel with loads of exclusive goodies, and you can sign up for as little as $1 a month. We appreciate your help, guys, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.